Good evening, everyone. I'm Jolene. I'm also a sister of Alpha Kappa Delta Phi, and will be your MCs for tonight. Tonight, we're joined by sisters of Alpha Kappa Alpha, Alpha Kappa Delta Phi, Kappa Phi Lambda, and Sigma Psi Zeta.
We would like to let everybody know that this event will be recorded for attendees who can't make it today. So without further ado, we'd like to introduce the following panelists who will be speaking today.
So the AKA panelists can go first, and then AKD Phi, and then Kappas, and then Sigmas.
Okay, thank you. Hi, my name is Cameron Edwards. I'm the current president of the Theta Nu chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jordan. I'm the current vice president of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and I'm a senior computer science major and statistics minor.
Hi, I'm Lynn. I'm from AKD Phi, and I'm a public health science major.
Hi, I'm Kathleen. I'm a senior. From AKD Phi. I'm a government and politics major.
Hi, I'm Maris. I'm an alum from AKD Phi, and I currently work as a video journalist.
Hi, my name is Hoya. I'm a sophomore bioengineering major, and I'm Kappa Phi Lambda.
Hi, I'm Mia. I'm the president of Kappa Phi Lambda, and I'm a junior bio major.
Hi, I'm Alyssa, and I'm a sister from Kappa Phi Lambda, and I'm a junior operations management major.
Thank you so much for all the introductions. And now we'll transition to a quick overview of the history of Black Greek life and Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Okay, so first we're going to begin with a brief history of what is known as the Divine Nine. 9 Black Greek letter organizations, known collectively as the Divine Nine, make up the National Pan-Hellenic Council, and this encompasses the entire Black Greek community in the United States. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm sure you're all familiar with some of them. Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Phi Beta Sigma Kappa Alpha Psi, all those like that. The National Pan-Hellenic Council was founded on May 10th, 1930 at Howard University. These organizations formed as a way for African Americans to unite and foster the growth of Black communities and bring social change through the development of social programs. During this time, segregation in the United States was enforced and Black people were denied of essential rights and privileges, which is mainly the reason why these organizations came about. We needed to create a space for ourselves when no space was being provided to us. And so we did just that. College campuses were predominantly white, and the growth and prospering of Black community was barred by the barriers of racism and class discrimination. So Black Greek letter organizations have worked with and continue to work with and provide financial support for organizations and individuals. Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated assisted the NAACP and the New Negro Alliance with litigation to end segregation in the United States. From 1948 to 1963, 8 Black Greek letter organizations were a part of the American Council of Human Rights, which lobbied Congress for civil rights laws. Since the early 1900s, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated have promoted education and philanthropy through our communities. Historically, Black sororities have been known for launching schools in rural areas and health initiatives in underserved areas. If you all were following our Instagram, earlier this month, we had Pink Goes Red, which is a health initiative focused on heart health among women, Black women specifically. So that's just an example. Many members of Black Greek letter organizations have organized and participated in marches and protests for Black Lives Matter. So this is a brief history on Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated was founded on January 15th, 1908 on the campus of Howard University in Washington, D.C. by Ethel Hedgeman Lyle. Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated was the nation's first African-American sorority. This year, we celebrated 113 years of sisterhood and service to our community. Some of the targets of AKA include maintaining high ethical and moral standards, alleviating problems concerning girls and women in order to improve their social stature, and service to all mankind. Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated was also one of the 5 organizations that chartered the National Panhellenic Council. So specifically for the Theta Nu chapter, the Theta Nu chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated was chartered in 1974. During the time of its charter, the University of Maryland's campus was marked with racial tension. This included protests, racist organizations, etc. Our charter members felt it was a time to bring a chapter to campus to continue to spread the mission of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and use their platform to fight against racial injustice. So some notable members of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated include Kamala Harris, the current Vice President of the United States, Maya Angelou, a poet and civil rights activist, Coretta Scott King, an honorary member and civil rights activist, Alicia Keys, an honorary member, singer-songwriter, Jada Pinkett Smith, she's also an honorary member, actress, talk show host, screenwriter, and producer. Toni Morrison, a Pulitzer Prize-winning author. Felicia Rashad, an actress known for her role of Claire Huxtable on The Cosby Show. And Loretta Devine, who's also an actress.
So Black Greek life has had a huge impact on Asian interest Greek life. The establishment of Greek life specifically for Black communities paved the way for the formation of Greek life for specific minority groups that were not welcome in historically white-focused Greek life. The first Black fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha, was formed in 1906, and the Black sorority Alpha Kappa Alpha was formed in 1908. So following suit, the first Asian interest fraternity, Rho Psi Fraternity, was formed in 1916, and the first Asian interest sorority, Chi Alpha Delta, was formed in 1929. So that's the end of our introduction presentation. Does anyone have any questions? If you do, you can raise your hand or just shout it out. All right, so that concludes our introduction slides. Now we'll begin our panel discussion.
Hi, I'm Maddie Ho, a sister from AKD Phi, and our first question is, when did you join our sorority, and what made you want to join Greek life organizations?
I will start. I crossed fall 19 and I was a transfer student from a community college, and I wanted to join AKD Phi to meet new people in the Asian community and pretty much like get in touch with my roots. And so I felt more comfortable around people of color.
Yeah, I crossed Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated in spring 2019. And I wanted to join the sorority because I feel like there aren't many spaces where like-minded Black women can come together and work towards a common goal. And so this was one of those organizations, and we're always leading the charge when it comes to fighting for rights, whether it be social rights, anything like that. And also when it comes to, health initiatives and things that we fight for. So those are all things that I'm very passionate about, and just how I knew that this is a lifelong thing. So I knew this fight isn't going to end until I'm 6 feet under and I can be doing this with people who are my sisters for life. So it means a lot to me.
Yeah, so I'm Cam's line sister. I crossed Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated in spring 2019 as well. And I actually joined for some of the same reasons. So I grew up in Prince George's County, Maryland. It's a very, predominantly Black area. So coming to University of Maryland, and then on top of that, being in a computer science major. I just felt so isolated, very disconnected from my Blackness, and kind of just unmotivated. And I knew I needed to be around, like-minded Black women. I needed people to support me. I wanted to know people that cared about causes that I cared about and cared about their community, people outside of their community. And joining kind of gave me a sense of purpose. And I'm so grateful for the love and the experiences I've had through the organization.
Okay, our second question is, what are some aspects that are unique to being part in your organization?
I guess I'll go. So for AKD5, our events cater to the Asian American community. We focus on empowering Asian women through events such as Week of Women, which is actually this semester. Yeah, that's what I think is the unique part of our organization.
Hi, so for Kappas, I think the most unique part of our organization, or like for any organization, is the pillars of the org. So for Kappas, our 3 pillars are sisterhood, service, and cultural diversity. And despite the fact that we're an Asian interest org, I really like the fact that Kappas prided themselves on cultural diversity and how so many girls from like not just our chapter, but like other chapters across the nation have girls that aren't the same, and we're not all just Asian and stuff. So I think that's something that's really unique in my work.
I touched on this in my last answer, but I think something that's unique to Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated is that many times when you see like sororities and fraternities, it just looks like a college scene. But for us, it's very much not that. It does not end just whenever you pledge in undergrad. It's very much a lifelong commitment, and you make that commitment once you join. And so you know that that's what it's going to be. And that's something that I really value because it's not only just like professional help and everything, but it's like you have a whole community of women who may be much older than you or much younger, but you know that it just transcends generations, and the knowledge they have will pass back to you. And so I think that's something that is incredibly valuable and you can't find anywhere at all. And it's definitely something that's unique to Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
How has being part of Greek life impacted your college experience?
I can go first. So I think that a lot of my closest college friends have actually been from AKD Phi. So that has definitely impacted it in that way that I probably wouldn't have met them if I hadn't joined. And I've also been involved in a lot of cool things that I never thought I'd get to do before. Like, for example, we make podcasts. I personally have always been interested in that, but I just didn't have like the editing skills or like just like other stuff that goes into creating a podcast. So I think being a part of like this organization has given me the chance and access to do things that I want to do that.
Oh, you're muted. Yeah, sorry. Okay.
I would say that for me, being a part of Greek life has really helped me grow a lot personally and professionally, which has helped me connect and network with a lot of others in college. And it also has really encouraged me to advocate more and be more involved in issues that are prevalent in today's society, and has given me a bigger platform to raise awareness for them.
Yeah, I would say Greek life has 100% transformed my college experience. And I know, as Cam said, being a part of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated is a lifelong commitment. So I know it's changed my life completely. I definitely just spent a lot of time before just kind of doing my work. I was a very academic minded student. I worked really hard to get into a school like Maryland, but I realized getting here, I need experiences that will kind of make me a better person, and kind of build myself holistically. So yeah, my line sisters are always there whenever I need anything. they're so supportive. It's just a great community of people to be in. And yeah, I wouldn't change anything about it.
Yeah, just to piggyback off Jordan, like she said, like she mentioned that we're line sisters, but it's really, people will spit like sisterhood and service all day long, but it's really like, this is my family, you know, like it's a very deep love that I have for my sisters, and you feel that through whatever, whether it's, you know, going through whatever. And so I think that that has been so transformative for me, because I've seen how they have directly impacted my life and have made me grow as a person. And so that is the biggest way it's impacted my experience in college, and also has also just made me understand like the issues that are really impacting my community. Like, yeah, I saw them, but now I have this platform, and it's like I have the resources to go out into my community and really enact change. And so that's something that I've been really grateful for as well.
That was really cool to hear from all of you guys. Why is being part of Greek life so important to you guys?
I can go. So I graduated last May, and I can kind of already see like the lifelong impact that KD Phi has given me. I know that I graduated with like a really core group of friends from KD Phi that I still talk to on a daily basis. And honestly, like without that core group of support, I like don't know if I could have even gone through like job searching during the pandemic, or just like not, I wouldn't have had that kind of moral support that I really needed during, you know, like the first days of lockdown and everything like that. I also think like with being in an organization like cultural interest sorority, you have like such a huge network. I've networked with alums that have helped me with like cover letters and portfolio review and like law school questions. So I'm really grateful for like the professional development that I definitely see in myself, but also just, you know, having friends that I can really count on and like eventually see like at my wedding.
Going off that one, I also definitely think that being a part of Greek life really helps you develop professionally. Even though I'm still like in school and stuff like that, I can really see how like before my freshman year, whenever I gave presentations and stuff, I was always like super nervous. But now I feel like when I go into a presentation, I'm a lot more prepared. Even like going into career fairs and stuff like that, I was always like really scared to introduce myself. But being a part of like an organization where you have to meet so many different people really teaches you like those valuable like soft skills that you need like in the real world.
I can go off of that, but I joined Greek life my freshman first semester. So before that, I didn't really have a lot of knowledge on just the issues that were going on, just socially and even racially. I think Greek life opened up a lot of opportunities for me to grow in that way and also professionally. And I think just being a part of Greek life, especially being within MGC, it just allowed me to be more aware of others' cultures, and I don't know, it just allowed me to see different points of views and opportunities for me to be more educated on these topics.
Are there any connections you see between D9 organizations and Asian interest organizations?
I can go. I believe that D9 organizations and cultural interest organizations like AKD5 and other Asian interest orgs allow and create a safe space for their own communities. And that could mean like professionally or socially.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Just listening to some of the things that other people have gained from being in their respective organizations. I've definitely seen some of those benefits as well. And yes, D9 definitely offers a safe space for Black people to grow, to connect, and have their own kind of sense of community. And I think that's really important to just like the survival of our people. And yeah.
Going off of that, I just wanted to add like a lot of freshmen coming into university for the first time, especially like such a huge college like the University of Maryland. I think these spaces, both D9 and cultural interest sororities and fraternities, like they really make a huge campus feel a lot smaller, and you know we can develop like closer friendships with people, and instead of trying to find like a friend in such a such a huge school. So I think yeah, definitely I felt like a what's that phrase where it's like you feel like a small fish in a big pond, but I think Katie Fly really kind of narrowed it down for me, and gave me that smaller group of community friends that I would not have had.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Maryland is huge. Like it's almost too big, honestly, in my opinion.
And going what off other people have said, like I definitely agree that it's like kind of like a safe haven, especially like in like a really huge school that's like hard to find people who identify the same as you. So I think like it's also a great place to like that nurtures you to tap into your leadership, because I think like everyone has the potential to be leadership a leader, but it's just like, do you have like the resources and support? So I think these organizations really like do offer that support and opportunity.
Yeah, and going off of that, another thing I wanted to add is that a lot of people in the Black community kind of look up to people who are in D9 organizations. So like you were saying, it offers people the opportunity to tap into their leadership. So that's another thing that is in common with D9 organizations.
So, how are you using your platform to address social and racial injustices you see in the world?
So, as I said, I'm currently president of Theta Nu. And during my time, one of the biggest things that I've really been wanting to do is to use the voice that we have, because we're a chapter on a campus like University of Maryland. And I'm sure, as many of us have experienced, University of Maryland can't be the most racially sensitive campus. It can be a bit racist, for lack of a better term. And so what I really tried to do, and what me and my sister's chapter members try to do, is speak up about things like whenever we can. So last summer, with all the racial injustice, the killings, protests, everything like that, we created a whole Instagram post and just listed the names of the people who have been murdered due to police brutality in recent years, and then went through and listed all the different resources, all the funds that you could donate to, and then did a donation in conjunction with other organizations in the NPHD to really spread awareness about this and speak up about it. And I think that what we did was so important, because many times I think people will feel as though some organizations or like so fraternities and sororities are like social things, like it's fun, good, haha time, but really no, like we're here for a reason. We were created for a reason. We were created to speak about social injustice, to lift up women and men in our communities. And so we have a responsibility to do that in all that we do. And so we did that, and I think left a very strong message about what we stand for and what we will not stand for. And then several of our members were out in DC or several other cities protesting. So we want to spread awareness and really show where we stand. And then we also released a video denouncing doing an End SARS video. I'm not sure if you guys saw that, what was going on in Nigeria in the fall, but it just shows that we don't only care about Black people who are American, but it's all of us across the diaspora. We care about everyone. And we want to make sure that everybody knows and is educated on what's going on, and we speak up about issues. So we do that whenever we can and through whatever means that we can.
I think another way that like I personally like been using my platform and stuff is that during this past year, I think something that I really learned is that everyone has a platform. It doesn't matter like how many people like follow you, like how popular your Instagram is. Like if you have like any form of social media, you have a platform, like you have a following. So and I found it was like really easy to find resources yourself. So I think the way that I've been using my platform is just by like seeing what other people are posting, especially on the really big like activist accounts or like from people that I know, and then using those resources myself. Like if someone has a huge link tree of all the petitions or GoFundMe's, then I'm going to go sign it. I'm going to go read it. I'm going to go donate to it. And then I'm going to post it too on my own page and then share it with my friends. So I think that's a way that I realized that people can use their platforms and how I've been utilizing it too.
Yeah, I also definitely agree. Like, I feel like a lot of the times we, like, obviously there's so much going on in the world. We feel like, oh, I can't solve it as like one person. But the thing is, like, everything you do, like, on your own and like everything you share, it does like spread the word, and it can also like lead other people to do so. So yes, like I've also been like doing the same thing as well, as an individual, and then also like as part of like an organization which has like a larger following than just me as an individual. I think like just pitching ideas on like how we can do things differently or how we can be more involved in social justice issues is a really big part of like an individual platform.
I think like another thing would be like how all of us are a part of an organization, and that's like why we're all here. So having like this form, like this kind of platform, allowed us to have an event like this, and here we are like educating ourselves more and doing things like this. So I really think that, which kind of ties in with like all the other questions that we answered about like how Greek life is affecting you and stuff like that. But yeah.
So I approached these kinds of issues from like a different kind of perspective because I work in journalism. So I feel like I have a pretty like bird's eye view of these things, and like I see the trends and like the numbers and things like that. So what I like to do on my platform is I follow a lot of like really reliable as well as diverse and just like news organizations that I feel like are doing good work. So I'll follow a lot of their Black, Indigenous, people of color that are on their team. So like those journalists, and I see like what they post, and I try to amplify like those posts as much as possible. I think the way we like fix how journalism and news media cover these issues is if we like amplify those diverse voices in the newsroom. So I think on a personal level, like I try to do that. And then on a bigger level, I try to use my platform to like learn how to cover these issues with empathy and grace. And I try to be sensitive about the things that are happening. And I'm just learning about, the best ways to cover news on my platforms.
Another thing I wanted to add, like the thing about being part of an organization, even though I did talk about like doing stuff as an individual, I do think like as an organization, we do kind of have the power and like responsibility to do like more than just an individual. So at least for AKD Phi, like I know that our primary method of like showing support for causes is like fundraising. But I think that like in the near future, like I hope that we can also like contribute like manpower or like womanpower, I guess you could say, to grassroots organizations and like just like local organizations that need like manpower now, because I think that's a lot that we can like give instead of just like financial support as well, which is like fine, but manpower is like always needed.
I think that is our last question, and we'd definitely like to open the floor to the audience right now. So if you have any questions that you want to ask to our panel, you can always raise your hand using the Zoom function or type your question in the chat box or just unmute and shout it out.
Hi, my name is Grace, and I have a question. What is your favorite activities to do with members of your sorority?
I guess I can go. I think especially during like since it's a pandemic, it's been like difficult for us to meet up, but online gaming has become like really big, and I think it's like a really unique but virtual like bonding experience when we like play games together and just like have calls and have fun in like a safe way.
For me, back at CP, I live with like 4 other sisters. So I think my favorite activities are just like the small things, like when we eat dinner together or when we like go grocery shopping together. Just simple things like that.
I'll say for me, like one thing I enjoy is planning events with sisters. I think it's like a great way to bond with your co-chairs, and like it's really rewarding to see your event get executed.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things to do is like our sisterly relations activities that we'll have just amongst ourselves, where we can like virtually play games or things like that and just kind of have fun with each other and not have to worry about all the stress that's going on in the world.
And I see Taylor raising her hand.
Hi, I'm Taylor Clark. I'm a sophomore plant biology major. So my question is, since community service is one of the pillars of many of the organizations you all are in, how has COVID affected that? And what are you all doing to still implement your service but virtually?
So I know for us, we have been doing like these two like game/service things. There's this thing called free rice, and I don't know like the super detailed level off the top of my head, but basically you can do like virtual activities that will donate to people. And then there's this other thing called Beam, which is also another thing where you can do virtual activities that will help like things get donated to people who need them.
Yeah, for us, one of the activities that we did for community service was decorate and write cards for those in the hospital, and especially for like patients in the hospital as well as healthcare workers as well. And then we just like took a big picture of all of us with the cards and stuff and like sent it to them just to, put like a smile on their face.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of virtual community service as well. I know some of my line sisters tutor children online for, I believe it's the National Center for Children and Families. I know we did one activity where we wrote like thank you notes to all the healthcare workers that were on the front line. And we also do like fundraisers and choose different organizations to donate the funds to. We've been doing that throughout the semester. So we've kind of had to get pretty creative since it's hard to do group things over Zoom.
I think Mimi asked a question in the chat. So what do you think are the most valuable initiatives to get involved in moving forward?
I think there's a lot of like really valuable initiatives. I think one of the biggest things that as a group KD Phi can really start to work towards is climate change. I know that climate change and global warming like affects disproportionately like low income people, like communities of color. So the people who contribute to climate change the least are going to be the ones that like get hurt the most. So I think climate change can honestly be considered almost like it's just a really like impending issue that we need to like start to address really soon, because if we don't have a planet, like it's kind of hard to do everything else that we want to do.
Yeah, and so I definitely agree with that. But I think one of the most important initiatives for our chapter get involved with, given our location in Prince George's County, has to do with COVID vaccination rollout, and just also ensuring that the residents of our county get vaccinated. Because I'm not sure if you saw, but there have been reports and like news reports that like Prince George's County, first of all, is the most heavily hit county in the state of Maryland. Like we have the highest incidence rates of COVID-19 and the highest mortality rates. So I think that, and there, yeah, like I was saying, there's reports that residents from other counties are like stealing the COVID-19 vaccination appointments for residents of Prince George's County. And so they're not getting the help that they need. And we know that Prince George's County is a majority Black county, majority Black area. So it's just further showing that the people that are hit hardest are not getting, they're left behind the most. So I think that would be something really important to get involved in, whether it be reaching out to legislators or volunteering ourselves to help vaccinate or do what we need to do, spread the word.
We see Kira, Madison, Jade, and Jeanette raising your hand, so we'll get to each of you, but we can start with Kira.
Hi, my name is Kira James. I'm a junior psychology and family science double major. My question is, out of all the programs that you have done, which one has impacted you the most and why?
So for me, I think our like yearly Week of Women thing has been like pretty impactful. It's just a very like, I guess, well-rounded like program because it's not just like one day, it goes over like the span of several days. And just like hearing like different perspectives, like sometimes we cover like female professionals in the field and like their experience. And then we also sometimes collaborate with other organizations about issues like domestic violence or like just sexual health. And I think just having like kind of like an overview of a lot of issues that impact women has really helped me to like learn a lot and just like empower others when I can.
That was a good question, but I think my favorite program that we do is the Daughter Dialogue. I've been basically, I think the first time we did the Daughter Dialogue, we had people's male parent figures come in, and they just talked about like their experiences raising young Black women. The most recent one was we brought people's mothers in. And it's just beautiful. It's just a beautiful program to be in. And family is very important to me. So I just always enjoy like seeing how, you know, people grow in their families and different interactions between people's parents and stuff. I really like that one.
If there aren't any more comments, we can move on to Madison's question.
Hi everyone, my name is Madison Moore and I am a sophomore kinesiology major. And my question is, I know that it is very easy to stay complacent and for some to almost like forget about social issues and raising social awareness. So my question to the panelists is, how will you continue to use your platform to raise awareness to social issues, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic?
So to answer your question, I think that I kind of touched on this in a previous answer as well, but it really is just when you see an injustice going on, you have a duty to speak up about it. Like there really is no if, ands, or buts about it. And I think that that's something that we have to do. Like we have an obligation to do as Black organizations or Asian interest organizations when there's an issue. Like we all have Instagrams, we have social media, Facebooks. Like we need to spread awareness. We should know who our senators or representatives are. If we don't, you can always Google it. So to try to fight to pass legislation, do whatever needs to be done to enact change. So I know our plan for our chapter is to continue to spread awareness, but also take action steps. Like it's cool, we can talk about it and everything, but also to really like do something, you know, like because we might feel like we're college students, but we have power too. Like we are taxpayers, we're voters, like go out and use the power that we have. We have a voice. So I think it's always important that we remember that.
Yeah, and going off of what Kim said, on top of that, just making sure you're kind of staying updated personally. And I really like that idea of following journalists from Black and Indigenous groups, because I just it just clicked, like a lot of the information that I consume is produced by, white journalists. Like I was like, whoa, like that's crazy. So yeah, that's important.
And I think especially like when you're at home, you're also, I mean, if you're living with your family, you do like come into contact with your family a lot. And that's kind of like your mini platform. And I think like say as like someone's child, it is also kind of your job to educate them if they are not aware of something or if they're misinformed. I know like in the Asian community, there's like a lot of misinformation spread, especially through like the like aunties Facebook group chat or something. But yeah, as like people who are close to them, I think it's definitely our responsibility to point out when like something's like very wrong or just like educate them on stuff that they are very misinformed on.
Going off that one, I also think it's really important to make sure that like, especially for like Asian families, they're kind of like older and they have like this like set mindset on certain things. So it's really important for us to like educate them on that. But it's also really important to like kind of call out your friends and address like certain issues like that. Like maybe if like your friend is like saying something because they think it's like a funny joke or whatever, but it's very not funny, then it's really important for us to not let it slide and to like actually call them out on it and be like, that's not okay. And you shouldn't be saying stuff like that.
Next up is Jay's question.
Hi, my name is Jade. I'm a sophomore, economics and finance double major, and I'm sure that being a minority sorority on a PWI comes with its own unique set of problems. So I guess what I wanted to know is, I know at least with Theta Nu chapter, they take the time to educate their own people on social issues or health issues. So I wanted to know, are there any events or anything being held to generate, just like educate the general public, UMD, about our issues? Because I know it's quite important to educate others as well that aren't in our community.
Yeah, Jade, that was a good question, and thank you for asking it. So specifically for us, our programs are always open to the public, they're open to the UMD community. If I'll be honest with you, people in UMD aren't going to come to programs that they don't care about. So that's kind of the issue you run into when you're on a predominantly white campus. And another thing is when it comes to Greek life and just doing events with, like, I'm glad we're here doing this event. Like, I feel like this is a really good space to be in, especially with Asian interest organizations and Black organizations to talk about these type of things, but and like how our sororities relate. But when it comes to organizations that aren't necessarily minority, I won't lie, sometimes it is a bit harder to get them to want to do events with you or care about certain things. So it comes to a point where it's like you can extend the invitation. You can be like, hey, you guys have a bigger platform than we do. Can you spread it? And that's not to speak for all of them. Like many of them will reach out and be like, hey, like let's collab on something, fundraiser, cool, great. But then where does that go after that? Like, like a lot of times it'll just be discussion, but it's not like, let's actually do something together. And so it'll just end there. So I think that's a big problem that we run into. And the issue is you can't make people care about stuff that they don't care about, And so you can spread awareness, do everything, but it's really knowing that we're doing our part. We're giving you the resources. We're speaking to you. We're like, hey, let's do this. And if you choose to turn a blind eye, I mean, that's not helping the cause and it's not helping further anything. And so we call you out on that, first of all, and move forward with continuing to reach out to who we need to reach out to make sure that our voices are heard. Like, I'm not sure if you saw, but a lot, or I'm not sure if you're in the Black UMD group chat or whatever, but there's a lot of organizing and things that go on and they're reaching out to Pines or like whoever. Like, we make sure we talk to who we need to talk to get our message across, even when it's hard, even when it's hard.
Jeanette, would you like to ask a question?
So I think it's been a really hard time for both the African American, also, I'm Jeanette. I'm a freshman in a psychology major, but I think it's been a really hard time for the African American community in regards to the unfortunate murders as a result of police brutality and just like the meaning behind Black Lives Matter as a whole, as well as for the Asian or the Asian American community with the whole recent outrage in terms of the increase of hate crimes against the Asian American community. And I know I've experienced like a lot of upsetting emotions in regards to these injustices, such as grief and just overall outrage. So I was wondering how you and other members of your sororities have remained positive and sort of kept your spirits up to remain passionate when times have been so hard.
I think that's a really, really good question, because not only are these things happening, but we're also like experiencing them in the middle of a pandemic. So it's like compounded. I think for me, I work in news, so I'm constantly like reading about what's going on, and it like honestly it takes a toll on like my mental health a lot of the times. So I like basically set boundaries for myself. So like after a certain time, like after work, I don't turn on the news. I don't go on Twitter to read the news. In the morning, I can do as much as I want and like during work, but I think like the over consumption of media as well as like social media, even I think that can like impact mental health pretty badly. So just giving yourself boundaries and knowing when to like turn your devices off, I think is really important.
Yeah, I definitely agree that it can be very overwhelming and feel like, oh, like, how can I do to help? Like, what can I do? And it kind of just takes a toll just being like a Black woman or whatever identities you hold and seeing your community being, attacked on a daily basis. But yeah, on a personal level, I feel like even just taking care of yourself can be an act of resistance and just kind of like taking the time to nurture yourself and the people that are around you that are within the same community can uplift your spirits. And yeah, also, sorry, I don't know if I'm talking for too long, but yeah.
Alexandra, you can go ask a question.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Figaro, and I'm a junior public policy major. And I guess this question is more for the members of Theta Nu. But out of the 5 target areas for programming, which are you most passionate about and why?
The one that I'm most passionate about, well, I mean, I'm passionate about all of them because they're the targets of my organization, but I think that women's health and wellness hits home for me just because I'm a public health science major and I'm pre-med, and I am interested in like obstetrics and gynecology. So I really want to make sure that women and girls are getting the access to healthcare they need. And again, especially being in Prince George's County, there aren't many hospitals in this county, to be quite honest with you. And so thinking about that and how there's lack of access to resources and what can be done about that is definitely something that I'm very, very passionate about. And also global impact as well, just because I don't think we should think in an American mindset. Like we should think about how we can always help the countries and everything around the world. Like what can we do to make sure that our voice is heard globally. So that's something that's really, really important to me as well.
Since we are very close to the 9 o'clock mark, to respect everyone's time, we'll have to end the event now. But we'd like to sincerely thank the Sisters of Alpha Kappa Alpha for taking their time out and coordinate and plan this event with us today. We look forward to any collaborations in the future, and thank you everyone for coming. Please stay healthy and have a good evening.
Yes, thank you. Have a good night.